Hello. It is Friday, the 10th of October, 2025. The time, of course, is 10 past tomorrow. And today I want to talk about something that I have been waiting and wishing to be able to say for the best part of 3 years, which is that Microsoft is finally a major player in the AI space. And I don't mean that in the, well, they've got Copilot, so technically they're in the game kind of way. I mean they can now be mentioned in the same breath as ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini as a top tier AI platform for organizations. For years, Microsoft's Copilot AI offerings have lagged behind the front runners. I've been critical of them in public and pretty fairly, I think. It hasn't just been my opinion that Copilot has been an inferior product, it has been the general industry commentary as well. But I've never had anything against Microsoft. I've always been cheering for them and willing them to get there, if for no other reason than 90% of New Zealand businesses operate on Microsoft. So there's direct relevance and need for us in this country to have a really strong Copilot range of products. And in the past 6 weeks, they finally have got there. So what has changed materially? Microsoft has integrated both the new GPT-5 models from OpenAI and also Anthropic's Claude models directly into Copilot. And that's quite big news, the latter. To go with the former, though, GPT-5 is a big step up from its predecessor, 4.0. Having that extra grunt behind Copilot now of GPT-5 makes an obvious and like tangible difference. You can feel that higher intellect, the more sustained ability for Copilot to work at longer tasks with that higher cognition. The results are really obvious, and primarily you feel that in Copilot chat. You feel that GPT-5 influence in Copilot chat. The other that I referenced is that Copilot, and predominantly in Copilot 365, they have brought Claude models in there now. It's huge news. I'll go into that a little bit further, but I think what Microsoft are doing here is they're pretty much acknowledging, without saying the words out loud, that OpenAI's models alone driving Copilot wasn't really meeting the quality that users expected. The result, though, now having Claude models in there, is that Copilot is now what I'd call a multi-model platform. That means that it can either draw on OpenAI models or Anthropic models, depending on which models are better suited for that specific task that you're doing at the time. And you can feel the performance leap. Copilot finally works the way that I and hundreds of millions of people around the world had hoped that it would. So it's time for real rejoice. So I can hear what some of you are wondering. If GPT-5 is already embedded in Copilot, does that mean that we don't need ChatGPT anymore? I know that you're wondering that because I've been flooded with that question from clients and in public speaking engagements a lot over the last month and a half. The short answer is no. They're not perfectly one-to-one interchangeable. GPT-5 behaves really quite differently depending on whether you're deploying it in ChatGPT or in Copilot. You could think of it this way. It's the same engine, but different vehicles wrapped around the engine, which equal a very different driving experience. So to put it in a nutshell, Copilot is the structured, more guardrailed, Microsoft optimized version of GPT-5. It's built firstly to be very safe, which actually does cut down its power somewhat from what you'd experience in ChatGPT. But it's designed to shine for tasks that use your Microsoft files and data within your Microsoft environment. So therefore, it's natively context rich in your context because it can access all of your files with the click of a button or the press of the backstroke key to access all of your Microsoft apps at the click of a button rather than having to drag and drop those files into the chatbot like you would have to do if you're using ChatGPT. To talk about ChatGPT using GPT-5, on the other hand, this is what I'd call the open road version of GPT-5. To go back to the car analogy, it's built for high performance, when you use it within ChatGPT. It operates with higher cognition. It's not as guardrailed as when you use it within Copilot. So it is more creative. It's better at accessing public information on the net. It's capable of more powerful, deep reasoning and has better automation capabilities like custom GPTs, which are far more capable than the equivalent in Copilot, which are called agents, confusingly enough. So GPT-5 within ChatGPT is where you go when you need to work with more power and intelligence and creativity, and when being able to natively access your Microsoft documents isn't the number one priority for that task. So shifting from that discussion slightly, let's go back to that other major leap, which explains why Copilot is suddenly about to feel so different for everyone, which is agents. This is where the new Claude models really come into their own. So Microsoft have embedded Claude models into Excel and Word and soon to be PowerPoint. That'll be the next one released. And in doing so, they've created these really genuinely awesome and capable agents directly in Excel and Word. And so if you've been using the AI assistant that's already been in Excel and Word and PowerPoint for the past 6 to 12 months, this is not that. Those were really lightweight assistants, and we kind of tolerated them, but they weren't great for any real meaningful work. These new agents that we're about to see within Excel and Word are proper multi-step autonomous agents that can manage really complex tasks right inside those documents you're already using in those apps. I think that we will actually look back on this moment, and this will be the moment where we say, yes, genuine agents have now arrived and are in the tools that hundreds of millions of people are using every week, right? So as an example, and so I would just say it's worth noting that for us in New Zealand right now, at the time that I'm recording this essay, we can't access these new agents in Excel or Word just yet, but they won't be far away. My guess is weeks, right? So, but from watching demonstrations of what others overseas have been using these new agents for, within Excel, you can do things like you could type into the agent, can you run an analysis on this sales data set and make it visual? You know, just an everyday English language prompt like that. The agent, and I've watched these in action, decides which formulas to use. It will build those formulas in the sheet. It can create new sheets with numerous tabs, and it can embed and link formulas across all of those tabs. It can build really awesome visualizations, and it validates and this is the big part. This is the big difference from the old assistants to the new agents. It writes code and runs that code to do the maths, to do the calculations, and to check its own work and its calculations as well using code. And you can get really powerful data analysis insights from this new agent as well. So as I say, it doesn't just generate weak surface level insights and analysis like the old assistant that's been in Excel. This new agent can orchestrate whole, independent, autonomous, complex workflows. And there's some brilliant demonstrations within Word as well. So those same Claude agents can turn your document creation into what Microsoft now calls vibe writing. They've clearly just picked up and stolen, piggybacking on top of the term vibe coding that's been around for the last 12 months or so, and now they're calling it vibe working, or within Word, vibe writing. So you could say to the Word agent now, summarize the customer feedback from my other document called Herald Ad Campaign Feedback. And it'll draft and refine and even ask clarifying questions and iterate with you. So it's now a back and forth. It almost feels like working with a chatbot, like working with ChatGPT or Copilot, but directly within your Word document now. So I am very eager to get my hands on these agents myself, particularly the Excel agent. From what I see, that has turned previously the ability for Excel to do any type of AI infused work was laughably bad. And in fact, I used to say, do not use LLMs for any maths or computational tasks. It now seems overnight we've jumped to AI now has superpowers in that area to do maths and computational data work. But so the real interesting bit for me actually is now that under the hood, Copilot and Copilot 365 are routing tasks intelligently for you. So they are using GPT for the conversational and general work, primarily in Copilot chat is now primarily powered by GPT-5 if you choose to switch it on. And Claude is being used for those structured agentic tasks and workflows within the documents, within Excel and Word and soon to be PowerPoint. And so that's, to me, that's the real and the huge breakthrough is that Copilot and Copilot 365 are great, yes, but not just because they've upgraded the models, but because there's this really smart system in behind that matches the right intelligence to the right task for you. So to wrap up, if, like me, you have written off Copilot and Copilot 365 for the past few years, but you'd always be hoping and encouraging them to catch up, your patience has finally paid off. Microsoft Copilot and Copilot 365, they're finally genuine contenders in the AI platform space. They are top shelf A-grade tools. They're no longer something that people just use because their company runs on Microsoft and it's the one that IT gave us. It's actually good now. It's better than good. And for the first time, frontier level AI is for those Microsoft users, it's living right there inside the tools that you're working with every day. So if you're a Microsoft user and you've got your own reflections on how Copilot has changed over the past 6 weeks, how it's feeling for you, I would really love to hear them, either in the comments section below or please find me over at LinkedIn and drop some comments there. I will really look forward to these discussions.